Hello everyone, welcome back to my little corner where I'm sharing my creative journey, where I'm trying to explore different things that interest me, from acting to yoga and everything in between, whatever makes me light up and feel good. Lately I've been doing a lot, like too much, and for a while I felt like that's the way: more effort, more progress. It makes sense logically. However, lately I started realizing that it's not for me. It's a bit too fast. I don't have time to breathe. I don't have time to enjoy what I'm doing, although everything I'm doing I love. In this video, I would like to talk about the moment where I realized that I needed to slow down. I want to share with you the signs that showed up in my mind and my body, and how I dealt with them, and what made me understand that something needs to be changed in my life. And just for the record, so that you see the picture, I listed all the things that I do on a regular basis, and I really can't keep them all in my mind, so I had to write them down. So I'm just gonna read them out to you. The first one is full-time job as a programmer. Second, yoga practice and teaching yoga once a week. Studying psychology distantly. I'm enrolled in a bachelor's degree and I do it fully online. Learning Italian once a week. Some acting projects and bi-weekly singing lessons. So all of these things I do regularly, so they're constantly in my mind. So I'm switching context all the time throughout the day because I have to keep so many things in my mind. And although I have a schedule, I have a plan, it's just too much for the regular basis. And while I love all these things, some signs started showing up, and these signs were clearly showing me that something is wrong. Something is not right. The first sign came when I started learning psychology distantly, and it's my first distant learning experience. I don't count my bachelor's degree in international business because it was first on campus, and then it kind of shifted to hybrid and then to fully online. And while it was fully online, I've already completed most of the classes and I was just writing my thesis. So I never fully experienced distant learning, and it's my first time. The sign that I noticed every time I had a chance to rest, I had a chance to take it easy, I felt like I had to study, because when I'm studying distantly, I always have something to do. Because when you're studying in a normal university, when you go to the campus, you prepare your homework, you go there, you stay focused on the lecture, and then you leave with another homework, and then you take your time to do homework at home. Here it's different because all the lectures are recorded, so I have to find time. You have to structure my day in a way that I have time to watch the lectures and then go through a lot of material that I have to also do in my time. It's not included in the lecture. It's like in a way, studying the lectures, because it's individual work, for me it's perceived as homework, so I constantly feel as if I'm doing homework. It's never ending. So I just realized that distant learning is harder than I thought, and I thought I had really good management skills, and I think I do, but like here it's the whole other level of management, time management. So that was the first sign. I didn't feel like I could take a break. I just constantly studied. The second sign was the pressing feeling. Like I'm studying and I like it, and then at some point there comes this moment where I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore, and then I'm like, maybe a bit more, and there is this pushing, pressing feeling that like that tells me it's not enough, a bit more, just a bit more. And later I understood that that's where I have to stop, take a break, go on a walk, do whatever, but stop doing whatever I'm doing right now. This doesn't work. This pushing, pressing feeling, like if it's in the moment where you've been doing something for some time, it's not okay. You should stop. However, if it's in the beginning of the task, it could be procrastination. So it's also important when this feeling is coming. And I'm only talking about my experience, about my emotions. It's different for everyone. But since I'm sharing my journey, I really want to talk and explain how it works for me. And then you can see how it works for you and we can compare. The third sign is the feeling of guilt. I started feeling guilty when not doing anything. I started feeling guilty when watching an evening series with my partner. Normally, I don't feel that. Normally, I'm just taking a rest and that's my time. But lately, I felt like, oh my God, I have the deadline. And it did have a reason. It did have a solid reason. The feeling of guilt of not doing something is an indicator that I'm doing too much. It means that something has to be prioritized, something has to be dropped out, and that's what I'm planning to do. The fourth sign is very specific to me, I believe. Let me know if you have something like that. But weird pain in weird places. So one day I had an elbow pain. Another day I felt pressure in my left eye. And then I had some pinching pain in my shin bone. All these pains happened within 1 week. For me, having these weird pains in weird places is a sign of anxiety. Actually, the first time when I went to psychiatrist was due to me having different sensations in the body and concerns about my health because of pain. And literally my body lets me know that something needs to change, something is up. And the fifth point, and the hardest one for me, is what used to feel exciting now feels scary and heavy. Like, for example, tomorrow we're filming a movie, and my first feeling when I think about it is, oh my God, oh no, it's like this heaviness, I have to. But then I remind myself and tell hey, but we really wanted it. For some reason I talk with myself as we. I feel better this way. Anyways, we really wanted it. It's gonna be so fun. And then I start imagining how it's gonna be and I get myself excited, but it's not a very natural excitement. It's me changing my emotion, but it doesn't come naturally because I'm so tired. Although this is not how I want to live, and I realized that, I did find a few things that helped me survive through a fast-paced life. Either it's submitting your work before the deadline or just juggling the life. I realized that this experience helped me find the tips that I could use later in life when I do have to run. So here are a few things that genuinely helped me feel more human again in the fast-paced environment. First, taking one step at a time. Just doing what you have to do today. Yes, you can write a few plans for tomorrow, but for example, today I have work. After work, I have a yoga class. After yoga class, I have to study this section of my lesson. So I know that I have this plan. So while I'm at work, I'm only focusing on work and I'm trusting myself that everything else, like the yoga class, the studies, after work, they will come. They will come, and I trust myself for doing everything well when it comes. So while I'm at work, I'm focusing on the work instead of worrying about the yoga class that comes after work. So that's what I call taking one step at a time and being in the present moment and doing whatever you have to do in the present moment, forgetting everything that will come after. The second point that helps me is allowing yourself to do things imperfectly. Done better than perfect. I have it written on my board and I see it every day because I like to be perfectionist, and sometimes I really need to be, for example, at work. However, when it comes to, for example, recording this video, I don't want to postpone it because I want it to be perfect, because that's exactly what happens. If you want something to be perfect, then you really take time and find the best angle, you think through the scenario. But this is not where I want to be perfect. This is where I want to be genuine, authentic, So here I choose to be imperfect and rather doing it in a shitty way, but doing it. The third one is hard, but it does help, is listening to the body. You remember I told about the pressing feeling that I have after I've been doing something for a while, and if I keep doing it, I feel like I'm just pushing through. So this is when I have to listen to what I'm feeling and stop, take a breath, take a walk, whatever I need to do to recharge, and then come back to whatever I was doing. The fourth point, and it's very individual, I really like walking, taking walks without headphones. I take a walk every day on a lunch break. When I'm at work, I literally walk around the office building because it helps me recharge. It kind of resets me. It's like refreshing the computer. Sometimes it behaves weirdly, and all you need to do is press restart, and then it goes blank for a minute or two, and then the Apple logo comes back shining and it's healthy again, and there is no issue anymore. So sometimes we have to do it to ourselves, and for me it's a walk. For someone else it may be talking to a person, or I don't know, drinking tea. For me it's walking, and that's what's been helping me recharge. Another thing that's been helping me in a similar way, but it's much harder to do, it's yoga. Yoga is a bit harder to plan, so you need time for it, but at least doing a few stretches is already better than nothing. Again, it's better to do it imperfectly than not doing it at all. The next point is sharing my feelings with the people I trust. Sometimes it's important to whine, sometimes it's important to complain, and also hear what other people see in you, what other people think about your situation, especially if it's the people who you trust. That's what has been helping me. I find that talking to my close friends, talking to my partner helps me deal through the hard moments. And the last point that helped me is turning fear into excitement. And that's what I already talked about. I just talked about the movie that we are shooting tomorrow, and that I just imagine how it could go. I'm imagining the best scenario, and I really get hyped up and excited about it. I have a younger sister. She's 10 years younger than me, and when I was a teenager, I used to get excited so that she gets excited. So, for example, we have to go to the hospital. It's a chore. But because I wanted her to go with me, I didn't want her to resist, I didn't want her to cry, I would come up with something fun. I would say, hey, we're gonna go to the hospital and we're gonna pass by the building which has red balconies. I don't know, I just came up with it, but that's the point. Like, I would find something interesting, something fun that's gonna happen through the experience, during the experience that I'm about to have. And she would get excited about it, and then we would go, and on the way to the hospital I'd be like, oh my god, look at those balconies. And then she would be like, oh, they're like tomatoes. I don't know why this example is stupid, but like, it does work with kids. And just like that, I get myself excited about something that's gonna happen, about something I fear. So I'm imagining how we're gonna be laughing behind the scenes, how we're gonna show the emotions on camera, how positive this experience will be, and just getting hyped up for the situation, although it's scary, although it may feel heavy, but it's important to have the positive attitude. And then I'd like to go through a few things that do not help, that now I'm trying to avoid. The first one is ignoring the feelings. So for me, it's ignoring this pushing, pressing feeling that's happening when I'm literally pushing through. Ignoring that makes things worse. I might even get sick. I might get fever the next day if I ignore it once. It's really important to notice the signs and stop. Just take a step back. The second point is planning everything tightly together. I know that I literally can push everything through, but it won't be nice because there is no space for rest. There is no space for joy. So the reasons why I'm doing it is to have good emotions, but because it's so packed, there is no space for good emotions anymore. So it doesn't make sense to do anything at all then. So it's really important to have gaps in the schedule, to have gaps to do something that's not planned, to do something spontaneous and just rest. It's really important. And the third one is emotional eating. That I love. Eating a lot of sweets, a lot of sugar, or maybe buying a pack of chips and juice and eating it all at once while studying. No. After that, you're gonna feel much worse, because then you don't only feel tired, but you feel heavy. Also, it gives you those dopamine spikes, or whatever they're called, that you crave more and more and more of these soulless foods. It's not good, especially when you're going through something really fast-paced where you have to catch up constantly. You're running. You need fuel, you need really good food for that. No sweets. Some are okay, but I do not judge in any way. I do it myself, but just honestly, it doesn't help. I wish it did. I love sweets. So some of the closing thoughts. So in conclusion, I'm learning that going slower, slowing down is not a weakness. Going slower is not giving up. It's rather a return. Return to yourself, return to your depth, and it's giving more space for the joy and for processing everything that's happening emotionally, which is so important. So if you've been pushing too hard, here is your reminder. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to go slower, taking one step at a time and without rushing anything. You can do one project this year and another project next year. And I understand that I'm telling these words to myself, but if there is anyone out there with a similar situation, that's for you as well. So, thank you so much for listening, and I'm happy to be back to this channel. That's exactly the reason why I haven't been recording the videos. I'm just always so busy with running somewhere while the life is right now. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.